Are you serious right now? Wow. History is in the making, guys. There has just been, this is breaking news, and there are still large aftershocks underway right now as I do this video. An 8.7 magnitude earthquake off the east coast of Russia. And as you can see, I'm over here at the National Data Buoy Center. The buoys are in event mode for over 8,000 miles. I don't think I've ever seen this before, this type of activity. This is unprecedented. The aftershocks are unprecedented. We are seeing history in the making. Look at the buoys here. They are in event mode from the Gulf of Alaska down to Mauigory Island, where there was a 6.9 earthquake yesterday, south of New Zealand. This is one of the top 10 strongest earthquakes ever to be recorded, at least in modern history, since we've been keeping records. And I'll confirm that with you guys here in just a moment. I'll show you guys the history. A lot going on, guys. A lot going on right now. We talked about that earlier today in the live stream. And as you can see, this is the exact location of the very shallow 8.7 magnitude. I think it was under 12 miles. Yeah, right around 12 miles deep. I'm getting word, I don't know if this is confirmed, maybe you guys can help me confirm this. Was there a tsunami felt along the east coast of Russia? I wouldn't be surprised. There would almost have to be. Look at the aftershocks that are occurring. And these aren't small fries. There have been 6.9s, 6.3s following the very large 8.7. There's another aftershock right there. This has been a hot spot for days. It just got hotter, and 8.7. So I don't know if this would be considered an aftershock because of all the earthquake activity in this region that's been going on now for a couple of weeks. Thank you, Douglas. Got the number one spot there, Douglas. Thank you. 6.9, 6.3, 5.5, 5.7. You're seeing history in the making, guys. One of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded on planet Earth has just occurred within the last 90 minutes. 90 minutes. Buoys are rocking all over the Pacific Rim of Fire. Look at the Ring of Fire. Buoys from California to Japan, from Alaska to New Zealand. Oh my, this is a big, big deal. And we talked about this earlier. We talked about the possibility of an increase in earthquake activity just in the live stream just prior to this because of an upcoming solar event, and that hasn't even arrived yet. Earth is just primed and ready for action. It's obvious. 8.7 with a tsunami warning. In fact, let's go to the tsunami warning and read up on it. I heard that the tsunami did make landfall. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, that's code red. That's tsunami, guys. Wow. There you go. Code red. What a powerful earthquake. Okay, tsunami. Tsunami warning. Unbelievable. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of information here, guys. Okay, tsunami warning in Alaska, the far western Aleutians of Alaska. This area here that you see highlighted in red, that is under a tsunami warning. The purple, I believe, there's been a tsunami there. Has it been confirmed? I don't know, but they're saying that just west of the earthquake swarm and the 8.7 that there was indeed a tsunami. The red area, again, in the far western Aleutians under a tsunami warning. I'll take you guys to that location right here. Here I span the length of the buoys that are in event mode. Over 8,075 miles. From southern Alaska, well, the Gulf of Alaska, all the way down to south of New Zealand. And there was a 6.9 down here yesterday. Earth is really feeling it right now. It seriously is. And guys, it's just getting started. I think the stage is being set for something bigger. I really do. Not trying to alarm everybody, but it's just happening that way. There's been a lot of activity here recently. The purples view Midway Island Okay, there you go. Showing 1 to 3 meters, Midway Island, Johnston Atoll. It would be a small island in the middle of the Pacific. 1 to 3 meters. Under a half a meter, that's way down just east of the Philippines. Under 3 meters. 1 to 3 meters in Japan. Let's click on this marker and see what we can see. Trying to get as much information as I can. This is in the Western Aleutians. They're not saying this, the height of the tsunami. But there's going to be a tsunami there. It's under a tsunami warning. Right there, the red, just to bring you guys in close. Tsunami warning, tsunami alert, tsunami watch. All the yellow is tsunami watch. And that goes all the way up into the Gulf of Alaska. And the entire western coast of the United States is under a tsunami watch right now as I do this video. State of Hawaii under a tsunami warning. That's the red. See the red? Hawaii, tsunami warning. So any viewers in Hawaii, you're under a tsunami warning. There's a threat of a tsunami that spans 4,000 miles away from the epicenter of the very large historic 8.7 magnitude earthquake. That was one of the top 10 strongest ever recorded. In fact, let me show you guys just how strong that earthquake was. That sent shockwaves around the world. I'll show you guys the seismographs here in a minute. They are all turning black. That's symbolic of a shallow, super shallow, very powerful earthquake. And you can see the red indicates a tsunami warning. This reminds me, I'm not saying identically, but it reminds me of the event that occurred back in Indonesia when there was a couple of 8-pointers that created a tsunami a few years back. But let's go to the top, here's the top 20 largest earthquakes in the world in the last 125 years. Here we go. 9.5 in Chile, number 1. 9.2, Southern Alaska, 1964. And that would be March 28th of 1964. The largest, the 9.5, was in 1960. That would be in May. Coming in at number 3 off the west coast of northern Sumatra, a 9.1. Tied for number 3, another 9.1 off the coast of Japan, Honshu. We all remember that in 2011, created a very large tsunami. Coming in at number 5, a 9.0 in the same location as this earthquake here today. Kamchatka, Russia, 9.0. Coming in at number 5, that was back in 1952. Number 6, an 8.8. Biobío, Chile, back in 2010. Number 7, an 8.8 near the coast of Ecuador in 1906. And number 8, an 8.7, Rat Islands in the Aleutians of Alaska, not far from this 8.7. So this one here that you're looking at on the map is tied for number 8 all-time strongest earthquakes ever recorded, well, at least since 1900, in the last 125 years. There may have been larger prior to that, but for the last 125 years, that's number 8, tied for number 8. Unbelievable amount of energy that's being transferred around the world. It's been going on for a while. We've been watching the swarm activity. We've been talking about the earthquake activity. The buoys have been acting unusual. In fact, there was a buoy right out in here. Let me see if it's still there. I don't even know if it's still, yeah, it's still there. It was this one right here. Southeast Tokyo buoy, I believe. Maybe, no, it was this one here. It was in this area somewhere. Let's just put it that way. There was a buoy out here that showed a 200-foot move the other day, and there wasn't even an earthquake, but it wasn't far from the epicenter of the activity today. Yeah, this is just shocking. It really is shocking. Top 10 strongest ever, or at least in the last 125 years. Look at the buoys, guys, all through the Pacific, spanning over 8,000 miles. Let's look at the seismographs. This is no joke. Plus, you've got a tropical storm and a hurricane out there in the middle of the Pacific Ocean to go along with a tsunami and an 8.7 magnitude quake with aftershocks. Incredible, just incredible. Let's look at here we go, the seismographs. Yes, they're reflecting a very powerful earthquake. Let me refresh this. They're probably all black. If not, that's the direction they're headed. They had no choice. The primary wave of this earthquake was so strong, and this is having a difficult time even updating because there's so much traffic. These are seismographs across the United States. They're showing a very powerful earthquake in progress still. The seismographs are still ringing. They're still vibrating from the very strong earthquake. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to the global seismographs. Here we go. Just refresh them, and they too are showing in progress. The earth is still ringing like a bell. Literally, I'm not joking. The primary wave is still recoiling through the earth. The seismographs, these are all around the world. The ones that we have access to, they're all black. Wow. Guys, you're looking at history in the making, no doubt about it. 8.7, the strongest, 8th strongest in 125 years, with a tsunami. Rocked buoys for over 8,000 miles, spanning the entire Pacific Ring of Fire. And we've been talking about the activity out here for a couple of weeks now. This really doesn't surprise me, not at all. We've been expecting a lot of earthquake activity. We're expecting volcanic activity. We wouldn't be surprised if we saw activity over here at Yellowstone itself. I mean, that's the type of energy that's been moving around, especially the northern hemisphere, but not limited to the northern hemisphere. There's been plenty of activity in the southern hemisphere as well. The entire earth is feeling the pressure. It's like the Pacific plate is moving. It's like it's shifting. And, you know, it doesn't take much. I mean, that's a huge plate. So any type of a shift, you know, regarding this plate here is going to create a significant earthquake, and significant enough to become tied for 8th all time, 8.7, at least in the last 125 years. It's right there, tied for number 8. 8.7 now, off the coast of Kamchatka, Russia. Another record. They had a 9.0 in this region. Let's see if we can find the exact region. Look at there. Back in 2016, November of 2016. Wait a minute. 1952, November of 1952. There was a 9.0 not far from this location. This is another historic earthquake right in the same area. Within a few miles. Are you serious? Look at that. So this place has got number 5, got the number 5 spot, and it's got the number 8 spot. All-time largest earthquakes in the last 125 years, right there in that part of the world. So it's known for large earthquakes. 1952 saw a 9.0, 2025 saw an 8.7. It's not done yet. There's aftershocks underway. There have been aftershocks over here for several days. Wow. Would that be considered a big aftershock? Now this area over here, I'm not sure of the population, if it's populated, but they are Amchitka Island. Is this island populated? Because they're under a tsunami warning right now. Is this island populated? I'm just looking at the islands in the far western Aleutians because there's a tsunami probably already there, to be honest with you. If not, it's on its way. I would say somewhere around the 6-foot range, at least. Maybe 9, this close. Doesn't seem to be occupied. You just never know. Sometimes some of these small islands out here, and they're mostly volcanic islands. It's part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, man. The Pacific Ring of Fire is loaded with volcanoes. I mean loaded. That's where the majority of the volcanoes on Earth are at. Okay, what do we got going on here? Populated or no? Doesn't look like it. Okay, well, I don't see any people. I don't see any towns or small villages, any cabins, anything like that. I don't think these are populated, which is good because there's a tsunami that's either interacting with these small islands right now or on its way. And it's going to affect the south side, obviously, not the north too much, but the south side, oh yeah, absolutely. Because it's not far from the epicenter of the powerful 8.7 that is now tied for number 8 all time. Just shocking. I mean, but it's not surprising, you know what I mean? Look at all these aftershocks in these are all over the US. 8.7, there's a 5.2 that occurred down in south of New Zealand following the 8.7, then a 6.9, a 6.3, buoys bouncing for 8,000 miles. Wow. Guys, this is an unprecedented event. You're witnessing history in the making, literally right now as we're having this video presentation, history's in the making. You just saw an 8.7, one of the largest ever recorded, and there was a 9.0 in that location right there that created a tsunami. This is the regional information. You can see it's no stranger to earthquakes. Look at all the aftershocks in that region. Look at all the aftershocks. A lot of movement there. So the region didn't surprise me, not at all. The strength, when it came off as an 8.0, a lot of times they'll downgrade these earthquakes more than they'll upgrade. You know what I mean? This one got upgraded significantly. It started off as an 8.0 and was upgraded to an 8.7. And they probably got to watching the seismographs, and then once they saw the buoys bouncing 8,000 miles away, then they knew, okay, this was much stronger than an 8.0. 8.0 is very, very strong. But the 8.7 put it in the top 8 in the last 125 years. That's significant. Tied for number 8. Number 9 is in eastern Xizang, India. The India-China border, 8.6, Assam, Tibet. And that was back in 1950. So this is the 8th strongest in the last 125 years. So we're trying to watch for tsunamis. There's just a lot going on, guys. There is a lot going on. Now we're under a tsunami advisory. Tsunami warning still up there in the Aleutians, but that could have already come and gone. It's the far western Aleutians. All those purples you see, they're under a tsunami threat is what they're calling that. Under a foot or right at a foot, but there still could be a tsunami. And what can happen? Here's what happened a while back. There was a event down here in the South Pacific that sent a tsunami, a small tsunami, and it was less than a foot up along the west coast of California. And a friend of mine has a boat over there at a marina, and the boat is parked at the marina. Well, when the water came in unexpectedly, it came in at high tide. It stretched the cables that hold the boat at the marina, and it pulled the handles and the hooks off it pulled the hardware off the boats because the water rose more than they anticipated. So if this water, and it will come in, if it comes in at high tide, it could have that same effect like it did back in, I believe it was 2017, 2018. And all the boats raised up, and it caused a lot of boat damage to boats that were parked. Wow, that's a big, powerful earthquake. Wow. Tsunami warning or tsunami watch all along the west coast of the United States, including the Gulf of Alaska. All of this yellow you see right here. Tsunami watch. And again, even if it's small, boats that are parked in marinas can be damaged if it comes in at high tide. Yes, so if you have a boat, especially an expensive boat parked there along the marina, you might want to go put some slack in the rope, if you know what I mean, just to account for maybe an extra 2 to 3 feet of movement. That's if it comes in at high tide. You might save your boat, if you know what I mean, or at least the hardware on your boat, because it will stretch your lanyards, your cables. Yes, it will. It's done it before with a lot less horsepower. Wow. So this definitely has the ability to do it. No doubt. Absolutely. Entire west coast of the United States under a tsunami watch. Tsunami warning in the western Aleutians. Obviously, tsunami warning over here at the epicenter of the very powerful 8.7. There was just another aftershock, I believe. 5.4 just occurred. 5.6 just occurred. Unbelievable. I'm telling you guys, stage is being set, and we have a very big sunspot turning towards the Earth that's going to amplify all of this energy. It's going to amplify it. And look at mountRainier. Talk about earthquakes. 1,073 in the last 30 days. 1,073. I believe that's probably a record since it last erupted. That's probably a record. Look at the quakes across the country here. All the red represent small earthquakes, but nevertheless, in Texas, you know what's going on there. Southern Nevada, not quite sure. California is just known for earthquakes. A lot of energy on the move, guys. Energy on the move. I can't emphasize that enough. Energy on the move, and it's very evident by looking at the seismographs. These are the seismographs in the U.S., all black. That's from the primary 8.7, the primary wave. There's a secondary wave that will come through following the primary wave. And not only that, the 6.9 that just occurred a little while ago, I think, as I was setting up to do the live stream. My goodness. There was a 6.9 that would definitely affect, it would show up on seismographs, at least within a few thousand miles. The depth of this thing was very shallow, 11 miles deep. Tsunami alerts are cautionary, but with the power, they're definitely, they need to be issued because this was a very powerful earthquake. Top 8 ever recorded, at least since 1900. Top 8. 8.7. It is tied for number 8. But again, a small tsunami could come in along the west coast. If you have boats parked in a marina along the west coast of the U.S., if this wave, it could only be 2 or 3 feet. If it comes in at high tide and your boat is too tight in the marina, it's going to stretch it and damage your hardware on your boat. It's done it before. That's why I say that. I know people that's happened to. So you may check your boats if you have boats parked along the west coast, and I know a lot of you people do. Maybe give it a little bit of slack tonight until this fully passes, because I doubt that the tsunami has made its way to the west coast yet. Maybe, but I doubt it. I mean, if this thing's traveling at 500 miles an hour, it's going to be 4 hours before it gets there. 5 hours before it gets there. And you think, wow, 500 miles an hour, that's moving fast. Yes, that is moving fast, but it's got to go, 3,000 miles? So, you're talking even at 500 miles an hour. I mean, that's still got a ways to go. Let's just see. Right in here. Yeah, 3,000 miles. So you're looking at possibly 6 hours before a tsunami would arrive along the west coast. 6 hours. So it would be maybe till 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, potentially. And it could be small, but it can lift boats at high tide and damage the hardware because they're not anticipating an additional foot or two rise. I've just seen it happen, guys. I know people that it's happened to. Buoys over here rocking all throughout the Pacific Ring of Fire. Hey, CR Essere, thank you for the super sticker. Don't see those very often. That's cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, people that have boats, go give them a little slack right now. You have time. Even if this thing's moving, like I said, at a staggering 500 miles an hour, it's going to be 5 or 6 hours before it gets there. Even way down south. These buoys will be in event mode for 24 hours at least. That's once they're activated, they stay activated for 24 full hours. And then they'll turn back off like the rest of the buoys that you see that are not in event mode. The event mode buoys are the ones that are pulsing, they're flashing. Those have detected some sort of tsunami energy all the way down to south of New Zealand. It's expanding all the way up to the Gulf of Alaska. 8,000 miles. I had it on I had it on Google Earth right here. Yeah, 8,000 miles. We can measure it again. Gulf of Alaska, all the way. There you go. Almost not 8,100 miles. Approximately 8,093 miles. That's a lot of horsepower. That was a very strong earthquake. And again, it wasn't the strongest in that particular part of the world. There's a 9.0 that occurred back in 1952. That's the fifth all time, or at least since 1920 or 1900. Right there, number 5 on the list, a 9.0. Where's my handy dandy zoomer? There it is. 9.0, same location, within just a few miles. A 9.0 back in 1952, November 4th of 1952. So it holds number 5 now, and that location, Kamchatka, holds number 5 and number 8. 5th in 125 years, and now 8th in 125 years. Sent tsunami advisories, watches, warnings, all through the Pacific Ocean. Now that's a strong earthquake. Wow. Yeah, there had to have been a tsunami with something. And the reason being because it was so shallow. It was a very, very shallow earthquake for its size. I mean, wow. Even the aftershocks are shallow, coming in at 10 kilometers, which is 6.2 miles deep. 10 kilometers, there's a 5.6 aftershock. Aftershock here, a 5.8, 10 kilometers, that's 6.2 miles. This aftershock here, a 5.7, 10 kilometers, that's 6.2 miles. 5.4 aftershock here, 10 kilometers again, 6.3, 10 kilometers, 6.9, 10 kilometers. Those are respectable earthquakes. 6.9, 10 kilometers, that's 6.2 miles deep. That one could have produced a tsunami itself, just because of its sheer shallowness. And then the 8.7 that was around 11 miles deep sent a tsunami of various sizes all through the Pacific. Unbelievable. And assuming it's moving at around 500 miles an hour, it hasn't arrived to the West Coast yet, who's under a tsunami watch advisory. All the yellow you see here is advisory places, all along the West Coast. From the California-Mexico border all the way up to Shignick Bay, Alaska. Wow. That's a big deal. So again, if you have boats in any marinas along the west coast of California, in the Gulf of Alaska, go out and give them a little bit of slack. Because if this tsunami, and it doesn't have to be big, if it comes in at high tide, it's going to raise your boats up higher than they would on a normal day. So it can damage the hardware on your boat. I know people that's happened to. So just a heads up, that's all. Buoys in event mode for over 8,000 miles. All the purple you see on this map here are tsunami advisories all throughout the Pacific Ocean. And they may not be big, but again, there could be a boat damaged down here in the Philippines because of a small tsunami, say a foot or two comes in and raises the boats up at high tide. And it'll pop that hardware off where they're held into the marina. Absolutely they will. This is number 8 since 1900. Tied for number 8. 8.7 magnitude earthquake. And the good guys and gals at the USGS, it took them a little bit to get this one dialed in because I think at first they just went with an 8.0 and then they got to watching the buoys and they got to watching the seismographs and then the local seismographs and then they could tell right away. Well, not right away. It took them a few minutes because of its incredible strength. Once they started seeing the seismographs all go jet black all around the world, then that's a very big indicator that the strength was stronger and it was probably more shallow. So big quake. Aftershock still piling up. This is just shocking, guys. It's not really shocking. It's just we're living in unprecedented times right now. We really are. Unprecedented times. Wow. Yesterday, while we were doing a live, there was a started out as a 7.0 down here south of New Zealand, and then it was downgraded to a 6.9 right there. Macquarie Island, 6.9. This one was 31 kilometers deep, so it was about 18 miles deep. So it really wasn't, a tsunami issue ever. But nevertheless, that's still activity on the southern end of the the Pacific Ocean. Now we've got major activity up on the northern end. But this has happened before on a much stronger scale, a 9.0. And you wouldn't think a 9.0 would be much stronger than an 8.7, but it is. It's significantly stronger. A lot of energy on the move, guys. A lot of energy on the move. We're watching the Yellowstone supervolcano. There's been some unusual activity in that part of the world. This part of the world here, again, is no stranger to big earthquakes, but anytime there's an 8.7 anywhere in the world, that's a big deal. That is a big deal. And this was in the top 10. Top 10 over the last 125 years. Let's see if we can see anything over here. See, there's no data showing up on this seismograph at Yellowstone. So I wonder if it's even working, because there should have been some sort of activity down here at the bottom. This is a 24-hour graph. Down here at the bottom, the last hour, there should have been activity. Every other seismograph around the world was showing activity, but that one at Yellowstone didn't show anything. So it makes me wonder if they're even online. Maybe not. Doesn't look like it. It should have detected that energy from the primary 8.7 absolutely easily. I've seen it before from weaker earthquakes. An 8.1, I believe, down in Chile or something. It easily showed up on the seismographs at Yellowstone. Oh, absolutely, especially an 8.7 across the Pacific. Woo! Wow, what a day. I just got off of a Zoom call. Just got off of a Zoom call. When I saw it come on as an 8.0, and I'm like, yeah, it's big. It's a big deal. I thought it would get downgraded. I really did. And then it stayed 8 for a while. And I'm like, they're really recalibrating this thing. And then I saw the depth change. The depth changed significantly. And that's when I decided, okay, it's time to get off the Zoom call and get on the video call. So here we are talking about a historic earthquake that has buoys bouncing in event mode that have detected or potentially going to see tsunami activity here in the next few hours. These waves don't impact these areas instantly. They take a while to travel, and it can take several hours. These things can move at around 500 miles per hour, these tsunami waves, the ships out there on the ocean, and there's a lot of them in this area. This is a very high traffic area. There is a ton of marine traffic out here. And you know they felt the tsunami waves, especially over here along the western Pacific. But the eastern Pacific is loaded with trading ships that have trade routes. That entire area that is under, where are we at, right? Where's the buoys? Yeah. This entire area right here is full of ships. So it makes me wonder how many of these ship captains and crew felt the tsunami. This area is loaded with cargo ships. Right now, as I do this video, loaded with cargo ships. This whole area is full of cargo ships. So you know they felt the tsunami, especially over here in the Western Pacific. Wow. Down here in the Western Aleutians, this place is always loaded with ships. A lot of marine traffic from Asia to the west coast of the US. Oh, this has been upgraded, guys. Now it's orange, tsunami advisory. Okay, this is a big update. See the orange? It was yellow, now orange. So if you live along the western United States, this has just been upgraded from a watch to an advisory. Let's see what we got going on here. This is a lot to keep track of. There is a lot going on right now. What do we got going on here? Western United States. Yeah, there's a tsunami coming. This has just been upgraded, guys. Just been upgraded from a watch to an advisory. Heads up, if you're in this area here, I'm highlighting it right in here. All of this area, especially orange. If you're in this area, heads up, there's a tsunami coming. I don't know how big. There's a tsunami coming, guys. Big heads up. This was just all yellow. Now it's orange. Big heads up, guys. Trying to give you a heads up. All the way down to Southern California. The California-Mexico border. This has now been upgraded from a watch to an advisory. See, a watch. It goes warning, advisory, watch. That's the order that it goes in. Here you go. Warning, advisory, orange. Warning is red. Advisory, then watch. Advisory, this just got upgraded from watch to advisory. So that is indicative of a tsunami en route. So if you got boats in the marina over there, go loosen them up a little bit. All of the western United States, all the way up into the Gulf of Alaska. The locations, everything you see here, guys, San Diego, Los Angeles, Long Beach, San Francisco Bay, going all the way into San Francisco Bay. Are you serious? Look at that. All of San Francisco Bay. That whole area is an advisory now. It was a watch. Now it's an advisory. There's a tsunami coming, okay? More than likely. More than likely, there's a tsunami en route that's moving 500 miles an hour. Just know that. That's how these things roll. That's what they do. When they're rolling, they're 500 mile an hour. And they're rolling, rippling across the Atlantic Ocean. Anywhere in Portland, you're going to see a tsunami. May not be very big, but no, it's going to be strong because it's moving very, very quickly. Up here in Vancouver, all along the east coast of British Columbia, west coast, all of this area here, look, tsunami, watch. See what they're saying. Yeah, it goes from here all the way down Portland, not Portland, but the port of Seattle, all along the coast of Oregon, Washington, all along the coast of California, all the way down to Tijuana. This has now been upgraded to an advisory, not just a watch, an advisory. So they are sensing a tsunami en route. That's what they're predicting. That's not coming from me. That's coming from the national USGS. Where are we at here? These good guys and gals here at the Tsunami Warning System. National Weather Service. They just upgraded this from watch to advisory. So again, if you have boats over here, I'm trying to get a handle on how big this thing might be. It's coming, guys. It's because these because these buoys aren't in event mode yet. They will be. Mendocino, it's not really showing anything yet because the tsunami's not there. It's got to travel, 3,000 miles? Can't just be there in an instant. It doesn't move faster than an airplane, but it moves as close as an airplane speed. So how long would it take an airplane to fly from Kamchatka or even Tokyo straight across the Pacific? Just kind of use that type of mentality. If an airplane's flying at 500 miles an hour, that's about how fast this thing's moving, okay? These things don't move at 6,000 miles per hour or 3,000 miles per hour. That's how far it's got to travel to the east or west coast. Watch, we'll measure again. Let me show you guys. From here, the epicenter over to here is 3,300 miles. So if this thing's moving at 500 miles an hour, it's going to be 6 hours before it gets there. But it's en route. That's what they're trying to tell you. That's why they upgraded it from a watch to an advisory. Means it's coming. So anywhere from San Diego, Long Beach, Wendy, if you're over there, go loosen up the boat a little bit. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I don't know how big, but it's coming. It's coming in hot, though. It's coming in fast. So that's where the problem comes into play. That's where it gets tricky. It's the speed behind this thing. Maybe only 2 or 3 feet, in height, but coming in hot like that. So again, West Coast, be on your toes tonight. I mean, you could be looking at possible tsunami tonight, 11, 12 o'clock. 500 is just a rough estimate. This thing could be moving at 600 miles an hour It could be here in 5 hours, you know. They typically, I think, 500 miles an hour. All these reds are warnings. The far western Aleutians in Alaska. There was a tsunami over here along the east coast of Kamchatka. And then there's tsunamis headed all the way down here into the Philippines. Philippines, where else we got? Miss Taiwan. Hey, Team Alaska, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center issued a tsunami watch for the entire state of Hawaii. Yes, tsunami warning and wave data confirmed a threat. Thank you, Team Alaska. Thank you for the super chat. And yes, we mentioned Hawaii earlier. You can see they are under a tsunami warning. They are red and orange. So if you're in Hawaii, tsunami is en route. How quick's it going to get there? This is a rough estimate. It may be getting close. I don't know. It's been about 2 hours, hour and a half. Let's measure. Again, these things move at around 500. Now you got a little bit of ways to go. It's 3,000 miles from Alaska, or from the epicenter of the 8.7. So again, 5 or 6 hours, but you got one coming in hot. So Hawaii's under a hurricane or a tsunami warning. And that was issued by the National Weather Service. 1 to 3 meters. So that would be 3 feet to 9 feet. Oh my. That's a big deal. 3 feet to 9 foot tsunami throughout Hawaii. And not just one island, all of the islands. 3 to 9 foot tsunami. Big heads up, Hawaii. Big heads up. Upgraded to an 8.8 now. Gavin Armstrong, thank you for the information in the super chat. Let's go over here. I haven't checked it out. Let's see. You are correct, Gavin. Likes for Gavin over here. Thank you, Gavin. It has been upgraded to an 8.8. This makes it now, in the last 125 years, tied for number 6. The 6th strongest earthquake in 125 years now at an 8.8. That is absolutely unbelievable. At 20 kilometers, that's around 11 miles deep. Wow, 8.8 magnitude, guys. Just got upgraded. Now, like I said, tied for number 6, just underneath its record of 9.0 at number 5. It holds the record for 5. Now it's tied for number 6 since 1900. Basically, since accurate record keeping began. Tsunami racing across the Pacific. If you're along the west coast of the United States, big heads up. If you're in Hawaii, big heads up. You guys are under a warning, and there's a 1 to 3 meter tsunami on the way. Moving at around 500 miles an hour. You can do the math on that, and you know what time it is. Be very careful if you're in Hawaii. Very, very careful. My goodness, this is a big deal, guys. This is a big deal. Wow. Again, the west coast of the United States and Hawaii, you guys are in for a tsunami. Alaska, you guys are in for a tsunami. It's coming, okay? Again, these things take time. They don't happen instantly. This thing is updating. I can see that wheel spinning there. I think Hawaii just got another upgrade. I think that's all warning now. Wow. Yeah, Hawaii, there's a tsunami coming. Now it's all warning in Hawaii. All warning. 1 to 3 meters high, guys. 1 to 3 meters in Hawaii, okay? That's 3 to 9 feet of hot, then I'm talking fast moving water coming your direction, okay? 3 to 9 foot tsunami headed towards Hawaii. Once again, 3 to 9 foot tsunami headed towards Hawaii. You can do the math along the west coast of the United States. Let's zoom in and take a closer look. There's no point in looking at beach cams because it's not there yet, guys. This thing, it's moving at 500 miles an hour. You have to understand these things don't happen instantly. The earthquake does. And the primary wave even takes a little bit to, and that's just the energy, the force takes a little bit to activate and show up on all these seismographs. It doesn't happen instantly. The water, being heavier and denser, takes a little longer to make the journey. It's making the journey. The National Weather Service said this thing is en route, okay? So if you're in these areas, you need to be on high alert right now. We're going to just zoom right in. Here we go. We're going to look at every single place. If you're in this area that's in orange, you're going to see a tsunami, okay? You're more than likely going to see a tsunami. This area is under a tsunami advisory. Hawaii's looking at 3 to 9 foot tsunami waves. Moving at 500 miles an hour. They're going to be damaging, guys. There's no way around it. They're just too big and strong. It's not like an afternoon high tide. This thing's got a lot of force behind it. So anywhere here along the coast of California, Hawaii, again, 3 to 9 foot tsunamis, every island. The west coast of the United States, let's go look. Los Angeles, Long Beach. Long Beach, you might be protected because of your unique position, okay? The tsunami's coming in this way, but I wouldn't say you're going to be completely immune from it. Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, Emerald Bay, Laguna Beach, Dana Point, Vista Point. This area here is going to take in water. See how it's open? You got a little breaker wall here that might save you from a little bit, but not everything. That's what that breaker wall is there for. Tsunami. And there's one coming. Breaker wall there. Tsunami. Let's go up to San Francisco Bay, see what they got shaking up there. Newport Beach. I think Long Beach, you guys are going to see a little bit of rise. There's the breaker wall. I don't know. It may get in there. It's coming, though, guys. There's a tsunami headed towards the west coast of the United States. Hawaii is under a tsunami warning. 3 to 9 foot tsunami headed towards Hawaii. I'm going up to San Francisco Bay because they, too, are under a tsunami warning. And the water's got a free pass. It's coming in. Water's going into San Francisco Bay. So if you're in San Francisco Bay and you have boats over here that are parked, you may go give them some slack. The water's going to rise in San Francisco Bay. Like that boat right there, you can see the cables that are holding those boats. They're going to get stretched. That's what I was talking about right there. They're going to get stretched. Go loosen those cables, guys. Thank you for the super chat, Chip. There's cameras on some of the buoys. Good idea. Let me go look. I'm just trying to remind people that they may not be living along the coast, but these boats right here that are like right there. See that cable? See those cables right there? They're going to get stretched off the dock, and you're going to have boats meandering around out there unattended to. Go loosen those cables so that the boats can rise with the tsunami, whether it's 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet. Accommodate, give the waves enough, or give the tie downs enough slack. Because it'll break the hardware. The water will always win. You know it will. I've seen it happen. All these boats in here, you think, oh, they're safe, they're tucked away. No, once the water comes in, all these boats are going to rise. See these little lanyards here? They're going to break. They're going to pop right off either the boat, the marina catwalk, or both. Right there, they're going to get pulled free. And then you're going to have boats going all over the place. And you say, wow, that's 3,000 miles away. That's what it'll do. It's done it before. All those anchors right there will come off. Pop, pop, pop. Easy peasy, man. That's easy pickings for a tsunami. Go loosen them up, guys. You'll be glad you did. That's in San Francisco Bay. That water will go up. There's a tsunami en route. Of course it will. Of course it will. You know what? Let's look for, because some of these have cameras. So let's just see. Yeah, you can see the water rising here at this buoy. Steady going up. It's still going up right now. Tsunamis are slow movers. They don't move real fast. Boy, that's real choppy. There's what created the tsunami right there. That's choppy. Went from 14 down to something. Pop up. You can see the action right there. So I don't see a camera on this one. I'm looking for a camera is what I'm doing. Some do, some don't. That's why I don't spend a lot of time looking for the cameras, because half the time they don't work. You know, they may have cameras on, they don't work, they're not activated. If you go to event details, yeah, you can see the water rising, dropped, then went up. There's a tsunami on the way, and it's inbound, guys. No luck on those. Just looking for a camera, looking for a camera. Ooh, this was up in Kodiak, near Kodiak, Alaska. And this is in meters, and you can see it went from 95 to plus 96, over 3 meters in the Gulf of Alaska. Wow. So Alaska, big heads up. Maybe dealing with it now. If not, it's on its way. Looks like to me it could be around 9 feet, Gulf of Alaska. Based off of what I just saw. San Francisco, it's hard to say. It's still too far out. Gulf of Alaska, we need to focus up here. Team Alaska, let's go. Yeah, you guys are going to see some water come in here, probably 9 feet. I just saw it. I just saw it on a buoy. Went up 3 meters. That's 9 feet. They'll easily take in water here. Absolutely. What are we looking at as far as people in here? I'm on Google Earth. I'm just looking in the Gulf. Oh, Anchorage. Let's look. Anchorage. There we go. Anchorage will see some water. Earthquake Park. I didn't know that was a place. Earthquake Park. That's in Alaska, near Anchorage. That's probably named after the big earthquake that occurred back in 1964. But there's a tsunami headed this way right now. I would say it's getting close. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 foot, guys. If you're in the Anchorage area, this water should all go up here soon because of the big earthquake. I don't know how far inland it'll go here, but it'll go in some. Anchorage will definitely feel it on the south side, west side. That is some fascinating terrain up there in Alaska. It really is. Alaska's a fascinating place. Sure is. But anyway, Alaska, you should be feeling the tsunami anytime. Honestly, at any time. Based off the buoy that I just saw, showed a pretty decent move upward. I think it was this one right here. Let's look. West coast of the U.S., be on alert. These things are probably being overwhelmed right now. Let's go to event details. Okay, so you're looking at least a foot, but it's still dropping. The water column height now is going down. Holy moly. Trying to get some accurate eyes on this here. This is the one that went from, okay, this is the one that's the big deal. Hey, Wendy Joe, you're welcome. Thank you for the super chat, Wendy Joe. Looking at the water column height, this is southeast of Chirikoff Island, Alaska. The water column height has increased by 2 meters. That's 6 feet. And that is station 464 414. And that is this one right here. Here we go. So this one right here in the Gulf of Alaska just went up 6 feet. And that water is going towards Alaska. So you can expect at least 6 feet. That buoy showed a 6-foot water change in the water column height. So that's the change that's going to occur on land. And it's moving at a very fast pace. Thank you, Wendy Joe. Let me give you a thumbs up over there, Wendy Joe. Wow. 6-foot wave headed towards Alaska, guys, based off of what this buoy's telling us. 6-foot wave. Let's check this one here and see. It's impossible to tell on that one. Gulf of Alaska has a buoy showing a 6-foot wave going up. Can't find any buoy cams that are working, guys, but that's an excellent idea. Thank you, Wendy Joe. Thank all you guys for hanging around. I'm just trying to give big shout outs. Big shout out to my moderator and everybody that's here. Everybody along the west coast of the United States. I've been zooming in on specific locations, but the West Coast is known for big cities. San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego. Let's go up to the Portland area. I want to look at the lay of the land. Let's just see. Is the water coming in? Oh yeah, it's coming in. You can expect 6 foot coming in here. Now, will it come all the way into the port of Seattle? Yeah, some of it will, absolutely. It's got to go somewhere. It's going to go up. So will the port of Seattle see some water? Yeah. You guys got boats in there? You might go loosen them up a little bit because they're going to be rising here real soon. Those little cables right there and there, that pretty boat right there, you may go give it some slack. Those beautiful boat right there, there's several right there. There's a nice one there. You might go give it some slack, or it's going to take on some damage, especially if the water comes in. The buoys are showing 6 foot, guys, so it doesn't take a genius to figure that one out. The buoys are showing a 6 foot change out here, then you're going to see 6 foot of water. That's just how it usually works. Hey, heading to clouds 3-3. Thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate that. That's super cool. Yeah, you're going to see 3 to 6 foot in the not Portland. Why do I keep saying Portland? Let's go back to here. Seattle area, because that water will come in. It'll come in slow, but it'll come in. Come in a little hotter right here in the, what's this called? The Salish Sea. Going over to Vancouver, absolutely you're going to see water rise. Absolutely Vancouver, yes. Richmond, right along the coast of Vancouver, Richmond, Seafair, Westham Island. That's the Canada-US border. Point Roberts, yes, you guys are going to see water increase. White Rock, of course you are. Probably anywhere from 3 to 6 feet. See, you got a breaker wall right there, don't you? Smart. Water will come in there, but it won't come in there fast. That's the only good thing about that. It's going to rise, though. It's got to go somewhere, and it's going to go up. It's going to come in here hot. See right here? It's like a bowling alley. It's going to come in, and it's going to be squeezed in that area right there, and it's going to go faster and rise faster. When it hits this area right here, it's going to get squeezed and go up. That's not a good spot to be. Langford's, what's that, Suki? No, wet water is going to get squeezed, guys. That's going to be like a vacuum tube. Water is going to go up. Nia Bay, Midway. Is that populated out here? I don't think so. It's like, what, National Forest or something? Cape Flattery Lighthouse. That's a very thick forest right there. I mean, they're going to take on a little bit of water, but pretty rugged right there. Not much of a beach area. Just thinking out loud, guys. This here, water is going to move up. It's coming in 3 to 6 feet, coming in right through here. Nothing's going to stop it. There's nothing there to stop it. And plus, there's a lot of ships right out here. This is a high traffic area for ships. Ships coming in from the Pacific, the Western Pacific, come into Vancouver all day long. Come into Seattle all day long. And if they're not going there, they go down to San Francisco all day long. If they're not going there, they go down to Los Angeles all day long. They're coming and going all day long. This area is full of ships. Full of ships. Are you serious, Stephanie Kerr? Santa Cruz, little Lincoln City. Yes, yes. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for the super. Yes, Santa Cruz. Yes, Lincoln City. Eureka. Absolutely. Fortuna. Hello, Fortuna. The water's going to come in there and it's going to get squeezed up. Yes, that's exactly how it's going to react. See right there at Crab Park? The water's got a nice big opening there, so it's going to come in and get squeezed up. It's like during a hurricane when the central low pressure pushes the water, it pushes it along. Sometimes it'll push it away from shorelines. Sometimes it'll push it into shorelines. And when it does, the water rises up. It's what they call storm surge. So this is basically storm surge without the storm. The storm was a powerful 8.8 magnitude earthquake that's now in the top 6. Tied for the 6th strongest earthquake on record since 1900. In fact, it's tied with 2 other, Ecuador and Chile. Thank you, Romeo Ray, for the super chat. Yeah, this is number 6 now. It's been upgraded to a number 6. Yeah, the tectonic shifts. Team Alaska, Romeo Ray. Let's talk more about the tectonic shifts. Earth moves, so does everything else. Water, land, yeah, volcanoes. Yeah, we were talking about that today, Romeo Ray. The tectonic shifts, sometimes, and I don't know how they'll measure it. Sometimes you can measure it by using shadows, but Amoy 333, Washington, Oregon, and California, you're welcome. If they're along the coast, they need to be on their toes tonight because there's a tsunami headed their way and it's moving 500 miles an hour. There's no way to sugarcoat it. These things aren't slow movers. They're slow, but they're not that slow. Eureka, Fortuna, Oregon, you're looking at Crescent City possibly seeing some water rise. You guys are right on the water, but I will say you have some very rugged terrain there along the coast. So you should be pretty good. Crescent City, looking at the coastline there. The coastline is very rugged. So water's not going to get up that high. It's going to be 3 to 6 foot, guys. 3 to 6 foot along California. That's what you can expect. That's what they're seeing up in the Gulf of Alaska right now as I do this video. It's going to be like that down here. Water's going in here. Jerry's Rogue Jets. Water go in here, and when it goes in the smaller space, it's got to have room to go up. It's going to go up because it's going to run out of real estate. It's going to be pushed up. So this area is going to see some water. Gold Beach Municipal Airport. You'll probably see some water. Anybody got boats in here at Jerry's Rogue Jets? There's a couple. They're going to get lifted up out of the marina. It happens. I've heard of it happening to yachts over in Long Beach. Big boats. Okay, here we go. Lincoln City. Let's take a look at Lincoln City. What's the coastline look like there? You're good. You're good right there anyway. That's rugged. Ain't nothing happening there. Down here's a different story. Water coming in. Inbound right there. Water's coming in. It'll go over this road or under it, whatever. It looks like it wrote. That can't be right. Okay, that's just a graph. So the water will fill this canal. Absolutely. These areas up here could see some water. Yep, but not a lot. Is there a boat dock over here? There is. Might go loosen up those boats a little bit. Don't unloosen them, but give them some slack so they can rise. They're going to rise. Jeez Louise. Jeff Nelson, Olympia, Washington, into the Puget Sound. Do you think the water concentrates or gets dispersed? Let's look. Olympia, Washington. Let's go look at Olympia. Want to? Yeah, the tectonic shift. If the north if the Pacific plate did move north, and Graham was talking about that earlier today, the entire Pacific plate, if it shifted north, like it probably did back in 1952, then it may have adjusted the tilt of the Earth a little bit. Those big events have done that. The event that occurred back in 2011, it affected the wobble of the Earth. Okay, Olympia, where are you at, Olympia? Oh, I see what you're talking about, yeah. It's going to take on some water. Sure it will. Just thinking out loud here, guys, or thinking to myself. Yeah, the water is definitely going to come here. Somebody asked a question about this particular area. Yeah, water is going to rise in here, the middle channel. But it should be okay. I mean, I don't see any houses right up against the water. I don't see a lot of marinas. You're talking about a botanical species in here. They're going to take on some water, yeah, a little bit. Just depends on how much. I mean, they're seeing, buoys are showing, guys. Buoys are showing 3 to 6 in the Gulf of Alaska. That's headed towards California, okay? Buoys are showing 3 to 6 feet up here in Alaska. Right up here. Right here. Buoys are showing 3 to 6 feet movement. So that water is going to be about the same coming towards coastal Canada, coastal Washington, coastal Oregon, all of coastal California, all of Hawaii. Hawaii's looking at 3 to 9 foot storm surge. Are you serious? Yes, we're serious. Gavin Armstrong, well done for warning everybody. Thank you, Gavin. Try to stay on top of things when it comes to Earth things. That's just something that I've always done. Even before I started doing videos, I was doing Earth things. Okay, looking at Hawaii. Big heads up, Hawaii. All of Hawaii's under a tsunami warning. 1 to 3 meters, that's 3 to 9 feet. So once again, Hawaii, all of the Hawaiian Islands, looking at possibly 3 to 9 foot. It'll be like a fast-moving storm surge from a hurricane, but moving much faster. Kiwi Las, thank you for the super chat. New Zealand coastal area is now expected to experience strong and unusual currents and unpredictable surges following the earthquake in Russia. Thank you for the update. I believe that 100%. There's buoys in event mode right now south of, as Kiwi just mentioned, south of New Zealand. So yeah, at the very least, you'll experience unusual waves and things along the coast of New Zealand, probably throughout the Philippines. Hawaii, though, is a whole nother story. You're looking at a 3 to 9 foot storm surge. You're right here in the middle. And the thing of it is, there's a lot of boats out here, a lot of very big cargo ships that are probably, that rode that tsunami. Again, looking at the west coast of the United States, all of Alaska, you guys can see some sort of tsunami activity coming up tonight. Again, this doesn't happen instantly. These tsunamis move fast. They move about as fast as a jet, 500 miles an hour. So yeah, it's coming. They've upgraded the coast of California and British Columbia from, they're upgrading it right now. See the circle? They're updating it again. So they're either upgrade or downgrade. What are they going to do? Looks like it stayed the same. But the energy is moving towards Alaska. It's moving towards the United States. It's moving towards Canada because they're the closest. Now, New Zealand, yeah, they could experience unusual waves and sloshy water and things like that. Absolutely. Absolutely, because this energy is not going to stop, especially in the ocean. It's just going to keep going. It's just going to gradually get weaker the farther away it gets from the epicenter. But It's still going to be strong by the time it reaches the west coast of the United States, because this has been upgraded to an advisory, or from a watch to an advisory. That means they're expecting it to happen. So this is a big deal. Again, this is now in the top 6, I think. Yeah, top 6 in the since 1900, 125 years. 6th strongest earthquake on record just occurred this afternoon. 8.8 magnitude earthquake, multiple aftershocks, Pacific-wide tsunami. Unbelievable. So if you are in this area along British Columbia, Alaska, the Alaska Aleutians especially, they're already experiencing the tsunamis way out here in the western. They probably saw, who knows, anywhere from 3 to 9, maybe 10, 12, I don't know. They were very close to the epicenter. Along the coast of the United States, British Columbia, I saw a 6-foot swing on a buoy in the Gulf of Alaska. So that tells you that at least 6 foot's expected. Probably 6 foot along the coast of the U.S. Just to be on the safe side, I would go loosen up my boats. If I had a nice, expensive boat out there along the west coast, I would loosen up the lines a little bit, give them a little bit of play, but don't loosen them up enough to where they're going to drift off. But they're going to rise, especially if this water comes in at high tide. I don't know when high tide is. I haven't had a chance to look, to be perfectly honest with you. Kiwi Las, keep eyes on Hungatonga. Gotcha. Oh, the volcano down there? Yes, sir. Got it. Okay, now they've changed Hawaii. Now this is actually a good update. Wow, that was a big deal. Hey, Everett Watson, thank you for the red super. That's a super sticker. Yay. This is a good update right here. Guys, I'm trying to keep you updated the very best I can. This is a good update. So if you're in Hawaii, know anybody that's in Hawaii, this has now been downgraded from a tsunami warning to an advisory now. That's or a watch. So it went from a warning to a watch. So that's a significant change. See the yellow? How it used to be red? That is big. Went from a warning to a watch. All the way down to there. So that doesn't mean you're out of the clear just yet, but they have changed the forecast for Hawaii. The energy is still moving. That's why this thing keeps updating. You'll see that spinning wheel. But along the west coast of the United States, still the same. Alaska, still the same. That wheel, they're updating every time that wheel. Boy, these guys are busy, busy, busy. Keeping up with earthquakes and seismographs and buoys and chasing a tsunami across, thousands of miles of ocean. Thank you for the super sticker there. That was super cool. Everett Watson. Very cool, man. Thank you. I'm trying to keep you guys updated the very best that I can. As fast as the information comes in, I'm giving it to you. I've been following these buoys for 15 years, and they've made a lot of decent upgrades to them. And as a viewer pointed out earlier, some of the buoys have cameras on them, and that would have been ideal in a situation like this to be able to see the waves, possibly. But I've noticed over the years, like half the time, the buoys work decent, but the cameras aren't always super reliable. But yeah, they've still got California under a tsunami advisory all the way from Tijuana all the way up through British Columbia, right up in through here. That's a long ways. In fact, let's measure, what is that, a couple thousand miles at least? Wow, that's a long way. That's all the way across the Pacific. It shouldn't surprise you. Doesn't surprise us. Okay, here we go. Tijuana, all the way up into here. 1,600 miles. This entire area is under a tsunami advisory. Buoys are bouncing. Guys, if you use this website, just know these buoys are going to be in event mode for the next 24 straight hours. Once they go in event mode, they do not turn off out of event mode for 24 hours. There could be more go into event mode. It just depends on what type of activity occurs over here along the eastern Pacific near California, British Columbia, Alaska. I saw a buoy up in the Bay of Alaska that was showing a 6-foot move, 6-foot wave. So they can expect probably 6 foot at least. Westport, Washington. Let me look at Westport, Washington. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little bit overwhelmed here myself. Westport, Washington. Let's go, Westport. Here we go. Somebody asked for that earlier. Ah, okay. Yeah, you're right in a... The water can come straight in. It's not there's nothing obstructing the water. But if you're on the backside of the coast, I'd say you're fine. Let's take a look at the... Folks are going to get wet. Or is that steep? What do we got going on here? Okay. Someone asked about Westport, Washington. I'm just trying to get it dialed in. Doesn't look like they'll... It's hard for me to get a read of the lay of the land there. It looks like there's about a 20-foot rise. But again, it depends on the timing of this thing. It's all about timing. Okay, so these houses here, these actually look like apartments. Westport Light State. No, what do we got going on here? These are apartments. I don't know, man. They might get wet. I'm just saying, they might get wet. Especially first floor people, occupants on the first floor. These homes here may get wet. I know that's elevated a little bit, but it's only elevated 15 feet. And this was obviously taken at low tide. This photo. Yeah, they're going to get wet there. Someone asked, Mama Pillow, yeah, these folks here are probably going to see a little bit of water. Yeah. You're going to see some water for sure. I'm looking at this photo. I'm just using Google Earth, and I'm assuming that this photo was taken at low tide. This is showing me a 7 to 6 meter range. I don't think they would get much, but they could get some, absolutely. Coming inside the bay here, these boats, you need to loosen up the noose a little bit here. Those boats, those cables right there will snap. If the water rises at high tide, even a foot or two more, all that hardware will pop off the boats, or it'll pop off that catwalk right there, or at least bend it significantly. Damage the fiberglass of the boat. Those boats, if you own a boat right there, you definitely want to go loosen it up. And this is in the Washington area, because that water will just come in there and just go up. It's going to act like a funnel and just go up. It could, let's put it that way. It definitely could. What they're saying right now, if this holds true, then yes, that's exactly what will happen. Looks like they've given an update here. Let's look and see. Buoys are still rocking. Looks like the site looks like the site crashed. Oh no, we can't have that. It did, guys. That is not cool. So now what do we do? Wow, the site crashed. Well, we're going back. Here we go. Just like everybody else. The site crashed. We're going back to it. Oh, they updated. Okay. Organic Machine Dean 333. Someone said it's been canceled. Can we confirm? Let's confirm. I'm looking at it now. I thought the site was doing an update, and they were. It crashed or updated. Let's look. Chris Lyon. Yes, sir. Well, they're still showing the orange along the coast of California. So it doesn't look as dramatic, though, not as far inland. Still orange. Gulf of Alaska, good news. You've been taken off the tsunami watch. California, British Columbia, you're still under a tsunami advisory. Oh no, here we go. I knew it. I had a feeling this was going to change, and it did. Hawaii, that was a false negative, false positive. That was good news because they took down the tsunami warning. Now they brought it back. So Hawaii residents, anybody that has friends in Hawaii, they brought it's back to a warning now. It was yellow. Now it's warning again. And earlier they were saying 3 to 6 foot right there. No? Boy, this is a lot of information. They're trying to get this out the best they can where it makes the most sense. 1 to 3 meters. There you go. So it's back again, Hawaii residents. According to the tsunami warning system, you can expect a tsunami 3 to 9 feet. Back under a tsunami warning. Again, Hawaii. And this water will not stop at Hawaii. It will go all the way down to New Zealand, where the coastline around New Zealand will probably see some unusual activity during the day today. I know they're already into Wednesday in New Zealand. So this afternoon, after lunch today, the coastlines could get a little bizarre. Yeah, you could see some bizarre activity today. Even in the Philippines, especially the Philippines. Now, the West Coast, they've still got it under a tsunami advisory, guys. They did not take it down. They haven't taken it down yet, let's put it that way. So, as of right now, it's still a tsunami advisory along the entire West Coast, including coastal British Columbia. And that includes Washington, Vancouver. Vancouver's tucked in pretty good, but again, when this water gets squeezed as it's coming in, it's going to go up. And that's probably why they're keeping this in place. It hasn't changed yet. Wow. Yeah, it's still there. Still in place, 100%. Tsunami advisory, California, all of California, all of British Columbia. The Aleutians, watches and advisories and warnings, still in place. And remember, I saw the buoy in the Bay of Alaska showing a 6-foot incline. And it was accurate because it was a good buoy. This one right here. Let's see if we, yeah, right there it is. Went from 72 up to 75, and it crested at 75, and this is in meters, so that would be 3, oh my gosh. 72, 75, that's 3 meters. That's almost 9 feet, guys. Let's say between 6 and 9, all right, just to keep it real. 6 and 9 in the Gulf of Alaska, 6 and 9. But now that energy is headed down towards, looks like British Columbia. Not that you're going to see 6 to 9 feet, but there was one in there earlier. But the advisory and watches, they're keeping up best they can. These guys are busy. You guys are very, very busy. When you have a wave of water moving across the Pacific Ocean like that at a high rate of speed, that's a tough job. That is a tough job. Trying to get everybody warned. It's better to just warn everybody as if it is coming, because that was a record-setting earthquake, tied for the 6th strongest ever since 1900 in the past 125 years, and a shallow one at that. So it's better to just assume that there's going to be a tsunami anywhere from 1 to maybe 5, 6 feet along the west coast of the United States. If it doesn't happen, hooray. That's a good thing, man. We don't want it to happen, but just anticipate one, because again, that was a record-setting earthquake, and that energy, that primary wave, went across. It went down too. It went down, but it also significantly went to the east. And so the energy went to the east. So it's headed towards east-southeast. That's why they've reinitiated the warning in Hawaii. They can tell the energy flow is headed east-southeast. Warning again in Hawaii. So they've changed it from a warning to a watch, now back to a warning, advisory. They've been all over the place. It's a tough job. Try chasing a 500-mile-an-hour wave through the vastness of the Pacific Ocean. That is a tough job, trying to keep people safe. Just assume, under these types of situations and conditions, just assume there's going to be a tsunami. If you have a boat anywhere in a marina that's not dry docked along the West Coast, British Columbia, all the way down to Tijuana, just go give it some slack. That's all. Just go loosen it up a little bit to where it's not, bumping into your neighbor's boat or anything like that, but allow for a little bit of movement in case this water comes in at high tide. Because again, you're talking about an earthquake that just occurred that was one of the 6th strongest, or tied for the 6th strongest in 125 years. That's a big, big deal. Big deal. Right behind its own record in the same area, the same region, set a record in 1952, had a 9.0 earthquake that sent shock waves, all through the Pacific. Again, 9.0. And you wouldn't think that's that much stronger than an 8.8, but it's significantly stronger than an 8.8. 8.8 is very strong. Look at these seismographs. I mean, they are just jet black. Let's refresh them. Those are in the United States. Yeah, they just got darker. Good grief. And you know what? Look at that. All black. And they'll stay like that for probably 2 days. Yeah. I haven't seen them like that since the Honshu, Japan earthquake and tsunami. And they stayed black for 2 or 3 days. The earth was just vibrating, ringing like a bell. Let's update this one. These are the global ones. Oh, wow. Yeah. And guys, it's been over, 2 hours since the earthquake? And these seismographs are still feeling the energy. They're all black now, jet black. The ones that are working. Look at them. They're working just fine. Wow. Once again, the entire west coast of the United States, Hawaii, British Columbia, the Aleutians, tsunami advisory and tsunami warnings. Anywhere from 3 to 9 feet of tsunami waves possible. I just got word that Japan is evacuating coastal areas. Probably be a good idea. I mean, how far are they from the epicenter? Let's just look. So if they're evacuating coastal areas, they're anticipating a tsunami that hasn't even made it to Japan yet. And they're closer to the epicenter than the United States. So that tells you that this is, okay, that's 1,500 miles. So that tells you right there. There you go. I've been on for, I don't even know. I don't even know how long I've been on. I haven't even been keeping track. But I know the earthquake occurred. That's 1,500 miles, so we'll do the math. If Japan is evacuating coastal areas, the earthquake occurred 23-24, 2 hours ago. .420, 3 hours ago. So that tells you that the speed of the wave right there, there's a good data point right there. If Japan is evacuating the coast, then it is moving at around 500 miles an hour. 400 to 500 miles an hour. Because Japan, unless they've already evacuated, so that just goes to show you right there, they're much closer than the U.S. So the wave, if it is coming towards the U.S., and according to the professionals over here at the National Data, well, not the National Data Buoy Center, but the Tsunami Warning System, National Weather Service, NOAA, if they say it's coming, it's coming. So just be prepared. This happened 3 hours ago, and it's probably moving like tsunamis do at about 500 miles an hour. There's been a major adjustment up here in the North Pacific. This was actually anticipated, with everything else that's going on. And it's probably just getting warmed up. You never know. Hopefully this is just maybe the tail end, but kind of doubt it. We've got a lot of stuff going on. solar activity is low right now. Wait till solar activity picks up. We'll probably see even more earthquake activity and volcanic activity. And this is just getting started, guys. Again, this tied for number 6 in 125 years. Right there's the number 5 is the same location, a 9.0. Kamchatka, Russia, back in 1952. 2025 and 8.8, just below the 9.0. So it's got number 5 now and number 6. Peter Kyler, thank you, Peter, for the super sticker. So yeah, the wave's moving it along about 500 miles an hour, so it's got a ways to go before it gets to the United States. I'm just assuming it's going to arrive over here in the U.S. somewhere between 2 and 3 hours from now. Still moving. It doesn't happen instantly. It's probably moving about the speed of a jet, a passenger plane. That's what these guys and gals are trying to do. They're trying to monitor this thing. And, they're probably using satellites if they, really are on top of things. They're using satellites. Hey, Louise, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. You are welcome. Thank you. Give you a like there. What a day, guys. We talked about earthquakes in the live stream earlier, but the 8.0, then it went to an 8.7, then 8.8. We had an inkling there was a big one around the corner. Again, it may not be done yet. We talked about the very possibility of earthquakes today. And look at all the earthquake activity across the U.S. I mean, just look. There's earthquakes just littered all across the country. I remember a day back in, it was in 08. I remember 08. You never saw earthquakes really past California. You may see a few strays in Nevada. It's changed a lot. Things have changed a lot. And there's a big energy shift underway right now. And that energy shift is still here. It's just made a major shift today. Something else is going to move now. This is going to create probably a domino effect. It could. I'm not saying it will, but it could. Especially with the upcoming solar horsepower that's going to be sending shock waves. It already is sending shock waves through the solar system via the backside of the sun. It's causing the sun to oscillate differently. The frequency of the sun has changed because of the tremendous size of this sunspot that's turning towards the Earth. So that's going to reverberate through the Earth, possibly triggering more earthquakes, or at least, earthquakes increasing exponentially, let's put it that way, over the next couple of weeks. And this thing is still going to be over here popping off aftershocks. Wow, there is a lot going on right now, guys. Again, if you're along the west coast of California, British Columbia, just assume that there's a tsunami wave en route. Better to be safe than sorry, that's all. If you're very much on the coast, go inland up. Just be safe, that's all. For the rest of the night, just be safe. Just play it safe. Just assume that there's a tsunami en route. That's what they're saying. I'm just passing the message along. I'm the messenger here. The guys and gals over here at the Tsunami Forecasting Center, Warning System, National Weather Service, NOAA, they're saying there's a tsunami coming. How big? Don't know, but they normally move pretty quick. But it's not instant, you know what I mean? They move fast, but they're not super fast. Actually kind of slow, 500 miles an hour is fast, don't get me wrong, but that's a big, vast ocean. It's the biggest ocean on the Earth, so it's got to cross basically the entire ocean. It takes a cargo ship 2 weeks. An airplane, it takes several hours, and it's going to be moving at the speed of an airplane. So just assume that there's a tsunami coming, guys, if you're along the west coast of the United States, anywhere between British Columbia and Tijuana, anywhere in between there. Hawaii, they're expecting, it's under a warning, guys, 1 to 3 meters. That's 3 to 9 feet. So just be ready for it. Assume that it's coming. That's what they're trying to tell you. Better to be safe than sorry. If you're along the coast, move inland, move up. Don't take any chances. Give your boats a little bit of slack. Otherwise, they are going to get damaged. If you give them too much slack, they're going to get damaged. So you're walking a tightrope there, no pun intended, but you want to loosen that rope just a little bit, or your hardware is going to get damaged because the boats will rise with the water. That's just what they do. That's what they do. Wow, what a day. Tsunami all across the vast Pacific Ocean. Buoys in event mode for over 8,000 miles. Unbelievable. But not surprising. We've seen signs of this for days now. Oh yeah, definitely seen signs of this energy in many locations across the country with regard to earthquakes and Yellowstone activity and volcanic activity. Definitely not surprised by this at all. Once again, here's a look at the seismographs, and they are all jet black. They'll be like that for at least 2 days. The earth will shake like that. The earth, it will shake like it just reverberate. It'll take 2 or 3 days to stop. Once that water gets to moving like that water weight, oh my goodness, it takes a few days for it to get calmed down. I've seen it before. Saw it when the big quake hit off the coast of Japan. That's why they're not taking any chances right now. And you can see buoys over there, absolutely in event mode. Let's see if we can get a reading off this one. View event details. Maybe 3 foot. Again, this is in meters, so it's difficult to say, but you could be looking at a 3-foot tsunami. Absolutely. Wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, especially along the northern coast of Japan. All along the west coast of the U.S. Tsunami, what is it, advisory? Advisory, that's still a code orange, code red in Hawaii. New Zealand, you guys are going to see some very unusual water patterns along the coast for the next probably a couple days, to be honest with you. But the tsunami, it will pass in the next few hours, but the water is still going to have unusual, noticeable patterns to it. Absolutely. And you'll be able to see that along the west coast of the United States as well. The water will act different for a couple of days. Once the initial tsunami passes, yes, it will. Absolutely. All right, guys. History is underway for sure. Well, listen, guys, it is 7:30 here in Arizona. I hate to get off here. I'd like to stay on here during this entire event. I'm just going to leave you guys with this. If you're along the west coast of the United States, anywhere from Canada, British Columbia, all the way down to Tijuana, anywhere on any of the islands in Hawaii, just assume that there's going to be a tsunami arriving soon. Anywhere from 3 to 9 feet in Hawaii, maybe 3 to 6 feet in locations along the west coast of the United States. If you have a boat in a marina along the west coast of the United States, you may want to give it a little bit of slack, because if this wave comes in, if the tsunami comes in at high tide, you know the drill. It's going to raise the boat up. It could break your cables and things. Your hardware is going to get bent at the very least, and you don't want that. If you can avoid that, great. But you don't want to loosen it too much to where it meanders out into the marina. But that was a very powerful 8.8 magnitude earthquake, and it did send a tsunami throughout the Pacific Ocean. Buoys are in event mode, spanning 8,000 miles from the Gulf of Alaska to deep southern New Zealand. Guys, thank you for hanging around with me. This was a historic event. Once again, 8.8 earthquake, Kamchatka, Russia. 6th strongest in recorded history, at least since 1900, in the last 125 years. Be extremely cautious if you're in the Aleutians of Alaska, along the west coast of British Columbia and the United States. A tsunami is en route. Just assume that there is, and assume it's going to be 6 feet. So act accordingly. Assume there's going to be a 6-foot tsunami. If it doesn't happen, that's a win. If it does happen, you're prepared. That's a win. We want wins. Win. So prepare for one, and you're good. Okay, so that's all I got for now, guys. I need a drink. I'm about to lose my voice here. It's been a long day. Thanks for watching. Have a super day, and be safe out there, everybody.